Fragrance Press, welcome to the Indie Spotlight. So I love indie fragrances. I love fragrances that are very artistic, that are very different, that tell me a story, that put a picture in my head. And I love under the radar fragrances that dare to be different and dare to, like I said, just tell a different story rather than maybe get compliments or whatever. Now, some fragrances like that can do that. They can do both things. Others can't. Others don't want to. So I wanted to create a show where this isn't a fully structured review like I do on Tuesdays, where I kind of lay a lot of things out, like projection, longevity, and all of that kind of stuff. This is more me just sort of talking freely about indie fragrances that I've come across and what they make me feel, what they make me think of. It's a lot more of a liquid kind of experience with this show. It's a new show, might not go well, people might not like it, I don't know, but I wanted to try it out. This is Extrait d'Atelier's Maitre Jardinier. I had this in my top 10 summer and I spoke about it briefly. It was an honourable mention. And I think that in previous years this would have probably done a lot better, but because of the circumstance that I had with this summer being a lot about meet and greets and networking and all of that stuff, which is something that I've kind of put off. Even though I am the fragrance apprentice, I can actually be quite a private person and I can be not totally up for going out as much as maybe I should, or maybe as much as I'd like to. I can be a little bit sort of insular sometimes, but this year that has not been the case. This year I have had to go out a lot more. So a lot of my fragrances in the top 10 summer were equipped for that. This fragrance is really quite something. It's based on a garden. I suppose I should tell a story of how I came across this fragrance. I went to Essence, as everybody knows, and there was a stand that had this kind of green, like maze, like labyrinth, and I thought, okay, that's quite different. I like that. What is that all about? And I spoke to the lady who was there, very, very lovely human being. And I smelt this and I immediately got this kind of really zen vibe from it. I got this very calming, peaceful vibe. I remember that every night at Essence was a party. So to say that I was hungover is a redundant statement because we were always hungover. And I just smelled this and I just thought, oh, right. It connected me back to my own kind of world. It connected me back to my own calm and my own feelings of meditation and stuff like that, which, as you know, I'm very into. And that caught me off guard. And I said, well, I would love to have this bottle. I really get something from it. I really feel the review that I want to do eventually on this is I would love to have a review in a labyrinth, in a hedge maze. And I even showed this lady different like hedge mazes, and that got me thinking about all these kinds of things. And what we talked about was, I said, well, it's so relaxing, it's so zen. It's kind of like you've been through a labyrinth, and then you've made it to the center, you've made it to peace. And this is the kind of the center of the labyrinth rather than the labyrinth itself, because to me a labyrinth is something that is stressful, something that is kind of difficult. It can be fun, but those kind of hedge mazes, but I can actually find them quite stressful and quite difficult. But there is something, because I can get a little bit claustrophobic, but it's very pretty, it's very aesthetic, and then you get to the center and you have a sense of achievement and you have this kind of calm wash over you. And to me, that's what this is. It's funny because, I talked about, is there a possibility of, getting this as a free bottle to review? And she just very openly said, no, our company isn't at that position right now, and we don't we can't do that. And I said, well, I totally understand and I respect that, but I love this so much and was like, I really want to talk about this and I really want to do a review of it, that I actually bought it. I bought this fragrance because I wanted to support the creators. Now, that's not to say that the fragrances that I did get for nothing, I don't support them or love them, and I'm going to be talking about quite a few of those over the next year, over the next few months actually, but it's not like that. But with this, I was like, you know what, I totally get it and I totally respect what's going on and respect your hustle. I've started a company myself, so I just got it, and I think it was money well spent. It's kind of like you get a little bit of that warmth from Hugo Boss bottled. You have like this, like kind of like vanilla-y base, but there's so much interplay between like lemon and lime and this green kind of citrusy kind of deal. It reminds me very much of the higher, more citrusy end of like Mugler Cologne. Not as much original vetiver, but more Mugler Cologne, because Mugler is very, very standardized and very basic. And this is very basic. It's a very, very straightforward fragrance, and it's nice to smell that. A lot of these fragrances, especially when it comes to niche, they try to go really, really bombastic and out there. I do like minimalist fragrances. I do like fragrances that do something incredibly well and incredibly straightforward. Me as a filmmaker, I've kind of, when I first started doing filmmaking, it was all about just making things as crazy as possible and over color grading and this and that and the other and doing this and doing, just I think that's what every artist does when they start out. They just put as much stuff in, but that gives you a lot more to hide behind, you know what I mean? If you have loads of effects and loads of gimmicks and loads of crazy stuff, that gives you a lot of stuff to hide behind. And Michael Bay does that a lot, and lots of different filmmakers and artists in the visual field especially do stuff where they just pour loads and loads of effects and crazy things, and it's style over substance. I think that the hardest thing to do as an artist is to get something that's very simple and very straightforward, and then just do it and just make it clean and make it simple, but still make it good, because then you've got nothing to hide behind. You've called your own bluff, if you will, and you've gone, right, well, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to get done. The other fragrances, I also really, the big thing that I really liked was just the bottle design, and this in particular I thought was just different. And different is good. Anything in fragrance these days, different is good, unique is good. And there's lots of different things, and there's lots of unique things, but there was just something about that. It was just like, I get it. So, like I said, you get the Boss bottled thing. There's not, but it's like Boss bottled zero, as in, or Diet Boss bottled in the way of there's literally no sugar. There's no sweetness in this fragrance, or very little, very, very little. And so it kind of takes that out and goes, all right, well, we're not going to hide behind sugary, kind of sweetness. And you get this really nice, calming, zen fragrance that I've not come across something like that in a very, very long time. And because of that, you feel very relaxed. You feel very good, and you also get a little bit of, tiny bit of Vicks Vapor Rub, tiny bit of Vicks Vapor Rub, which is no bad thing. So you get that kind of like cleanly, that kind of cleanly. It's just very clean, and I'm trying to think of a word in my vocabulary because I don't want to say classy. I don't want to say, like, mature is kind of the wrong word, and it's not necessarily confident. It's just very sedate. It's very, very static. It's very, very nonchalant, and it's very the best word that I could put on this is it's really, really still. But in a super duper relaxed way. And that was what made me think of meditation. The aim of meditation is you're not thinking, you're not judging, you're not being affected by the outside world, you're not being affected by the motorbike that's going past. You're just very still and very calm within yourself, and you're not even confident, you're just very, very accepting of yourself and everything. And I just got that. That's honestly what I got when I smelled this. I was like, wow, it's like you've bottled Zen, you know. And that's why I mentioned that it can be a little bit difficult compliment-wise, because it's so sedate and so still that it doesn't have any attention-grabbing qualities whatsoever. So, you know, you probably won't get compliments from it. You might. I mean, it's a nice smell. There's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't have that, you know, kind of boom thing that a lot of these other fragrances have, and a lot of the audience to fragrance these days are very desensitized to fragrance. So you do need things that just like come in and like just punch that way, you know, through the barrier. So that's why I really love this fragrance. I love the story that it's telling. I love the fact that it's got that connection with the garden, which I think is just fantastic. And it's just like sitting in a garden and meditating, or you go through the maze and then you get to the center and there's like a little bench in the middle of the maze, and you just sit down and you're just like, okay, you know, this is very nice, and I've done my thing and I've made it. So yeah, it's a really great fragrance with a great unique story. I do want to do a full review of it, and I do want to do it actually in a hedge maze. I think that would be cool. But now that we're coming up to autumn and winter, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that until spring. But that's what I get from this on the level of me smelling it and going, oh wow, okay. But the more technical stuff when it comes to the fragrance will be explored in a more conventional review. Anyway, that's it. That's pretty much that's the first episode of this. It's very, very relaxing. It's a very unique kind of style of video where you're just kind of talking about what the thing makes you feel, and you know how you know. I in this show I want to kind of aim it more talking about fragrances just as pieces of art, like I'm looking at a painting and you know getting from it what I get from it. That's a new style I want to check out. I'm going to do this a couple more times. If you like the idea, if you like the show, like the concept, leave a comment down below. And if you want to see more of these episodes, then of course subscribe and leave a like. But that was the first episode of Indie Spotlight, and this is Extrait d'Atelier's Maitre Jardinier. So if you like the sound of it, check it out. Anyway, I'll see you next time. I'm the Fragrance Press. I'm out.